Hi everybody, and thanks for tuning in to Endless Edgecraft. I'm Alex Chances. Today we're going to look at some of the stuff and the history of the world's Colombian Exposition in 1893. A number of cities wanted to host the fair. In New York City, J.P. Morgan, Cornelius Vanderbilt, and William Waldorf Astor, among others, promised $15 million to finance the fair if Congress awarded it to New York. In the end, a Chicago banker raising over $1 million in one day took the Chicago bid over the finish line. It became known as the White City. Buildings were all white and designed by renowned architects. 46 nations were represented at the expo. This book is written in half Czechoslovakian and half in English. It shows some of the nearly 200 buildings covering the 690 acres that included canals and lagoons. The top here is the Mines and Mining Building. This was the Woman's Building, which was designed by a female architect and highlighted the skills and talents of women, which we'll get back to in a minute. This is the Fisheries Building. This is the Transportation Building. It's a machinery hall, and you can see the lagoon and some boats on it. On top here is the Electrical Building, and then a view from the south looking over the lagoon. U.S. Coastline Battleship at the World's Fair. This was the Administration Building. This is the Horticulture Building, and this is the Agriculture Building. Many of the souvenirs show the architecture. They were very proud of the architecture and how well built and modern, and the fact that they had these architects design all these buildings. This is a different book, but also again filled with pictures of buildings. Upwards of 27 million people attended the expo, which ran from May 1st, 1893 until October 30th, 1893. The fair was originally going to be closed on Sundays, but the Chicago Women's Club petitioned to keep it open. They felt that if the expo was closed on Sundays, it would keep people that could not take off from work during the week from seeing it. The fair ended with the city in shock. The popular mayor, Carter Harrison, was assassinated 2 days before the fair closed. Closing ceremonies were canceled in favor of a public memorial service. This souvenir was originally a pin cushion. It was filled with like a straw and came with a bunch of pins in it and needles. But you can see it says World's Fair, 1893. It's pewter. A couple of fun facts from the expo. The fair included a full-size reproduction of the Columbus ships, the Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria. They were built in Spain and sailed to America for the expo. It had the world's first Ferris wheel, standing at 264 feet, designed to rival the Eiffel Tower, which was built a few years earlier for the World's Fair. On the banks of the lake was the first moving walkway. The expo gave us the brownie, Cracker Jacks, juicy fruit gum, Quaker Oats, shredded wheat, and Pabst Blue Ribbon. A device that made plates for printing books in Braille, introduced by Frank Hall, who met Helen Keller there at the fair. The first elongated coins, when they squish pennies in a machine, it was the first time they ever had that. The first fully electrical kitchen, which included an automatic dishwasher. Phosphorescent lamps that were like a precursor to fluorescent lamps. And Harry Houdini and his brother Theodore performed at the fair. In the Women's Building, there was all kinds of arts and crafts going on, and this souvenir was woven in the Women's Building. As was this. You can see this is a silk ribbon and hand woven or maybe machine, it looks like machine woven at the fair. A special $50 was issued in 1893, the Colombian $50. This little souvenir spoon shows Columbus's boat, 1492 when Columbus sailed. Picture of Columbus. On the spoon itself, you can see one of the buildings. It looks like the administration building. Let me see if I can get this in focus for you. Does it say? Yeah, it's the administration building. Even the souvenir knives had architecture on them. You can see this little penknife has the 3 ships on one side and the rising sun. This is a Hibbard Spencer and Bartlett, which was out of Chicago. Started right after the Great Fires in Chicago, which I think was 1871, which just about leveled the city. But you can see HSB and Company. And then my favorite thing from this is the razor. You can see on the razor box, they embossed, World's Colombian Exposition, and there's one of the buildings there, which is very common for Boker. It's a Boker. This thing is 130 years old, and it is in perfect condition, and it has the coolest etch. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? World's Columbian Exposition, Chicago, 1893. How cool is that? Maybe the strangest thing about the Chicago World's Fair was that the United States' first serial killer was active during the World's Fair. He's said to have killed over 200 people, and the stories are just bizarre. I don't want to go into it here, but if that kind of thing is interesting to you, you can look up H.H. Holmes. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please click like and subscribe to my channel. I'd be happy to hear your comments and any suggestions or thoughts you have. That's it. Have a great day. Bye-bye.